Hi everyone, so here's some advice on how you might want to play Keera Fitzpatrick. So Keera Fitzpatrick, her basic background is she's not a very experienced politician. She's famous because she won the Traitors, the first Irish person in our fictional universe to have won the Traitors in the UK. So obviously someone who's very smart, someone who's very strategic, but someone who hasn't a lot of experience in Irish politics. And you can play that different ways. If I was a more experienced politician, I'd be saying, look, this person, like, she can't be our candidate. She's only barely a few months in politics. She doesn't have the experience. Whereas you can say, look, uh, all the more experienced politicians, okay, they've got experience, but they made a lot of mistakes. And the other party, the Shamrocks, are going to attack us on the basis of those mistakes. Who do we want as our candidate? Do we want someone like Pat Patterson or Ethan Novak, who have been at the forefront of politics for ages and who can be blamed for all the mistakes that the government have made in the last few decades? Or do you want someone who's new to politics, a fresh face, who really can't be blamed for any errors that the government has made in the last few years? Because look, I wasn't around to make those decisions. So one person has to play the candidate. I think there's four in your group, so there's three other potential characters you can play. Keira herself has just become a TD, a Dáil deputy, a member of parliament for the first time, replacing her grandfather, who sadly passed away unexpectedly at the ripe old age of 87 after a very suspicious accident. Uh, Instead of Keira's father taking up the position, running to replace his father, he stood aside to let Keira run. And she won the by-election or the election to replace her grandfather. So one of the characters is Keira's father, Mick Fitzpatrick. He's a county councillor from Laois. He's probably in his mid-50s, early 60s. He's your typical county councillor, rural county councillor. So you want someone to fit a pothole, Mick's the man. So he'll know a lot about local politics. Huh? You can play on that knowledge in certain counties. You can play on the fact he's a good local rural politician. You should be able to play on that in counties like Leitrim and Longford, but definitely you need to play on this for the Laois primary election. So what should you be trying to do? I think you should be trying to do well in Leitrim of the first two counties. If you want to win this primary election, you definitely have to win in Laois. If you can't win in your home county as a local candidate, then that's a problem. So I would definitely say, look, there's four of you. You have a good sized team. You're the first person, one of the first people to put your name in the race in terms of the harp party. So you have an early advantage. You can get out in the race quickly. You can hit the ground running. So at the moment, there's only my candidate, there's Mary Tina Hogan, there's yourselves in terms of those who have picked candidates. So you have that advantage. So one of you should play the role of Mick Fitzpatrick, play it the way you would play this character the way you'd expect a 59-year-old from a rural area in County Laois. Think about how they would act, what they would say. The next person is someone who was on the Traitors with Keira. So they're not a politician, but they're best friends with Keira, even though Keira absolutely did the dirty on them in the Traitors. They made up afterwards. So you can play that. You say, okay, everyone says Keira's character came across as very 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 devious on the Traitors, but you say, look, I know, look, you saw what she did to me on the program, but I know she was just playing the game. She did what she had to do to win. And I know that if Keira becomes president of Ireland, she will do what she has to do to win for the people of Ireland. So you can play it like that. So you can play on the basis of, look, people say she's devious, but I know the real Keira. If you leave outside the fact she was playing the game, I like Keira, I have a lot of time for Keira, and this is why I'm supporting Keira to the hilt. The last character, Lisa Janeway, who is a former member of the Shamrock Party. So you could actually play this. So she's a sitting TD from Dublin Midwest. So that gives you an urban dimension. So she's an urban TD. She's a former Shamrock who has now joined Keera's campaign. So why has she joined Keera's campaign? Play on that. Why does she want to support Keera? You can also play on the fact that she's from an urban area. So if you're campaigning in the first two counties in Leitrim and Louth, you might have a situation where three of you head to Leitrim, because I think doing well in a rural county should be important. But maybe Lisa, by contrast, spends more time in Louth, or maybe you divide it up. Two of you go to Leitrim, two of you go to Louth, or maybe you just say, look guys, let's try to win one of these counties and then go on to win Laois. So at least we're definitely in the front runner. So you might decide, look, let's go to Louth, let's focus on Louth, or let's focus on Leitrim, let's try to win one of these. Even if it's a case of saying, looking at the posting and say, oh, look, Mary Tina is very active in Leitrim. Let's do enough to do well in Leitrim, but there's not too many people posting in Louth. Let's try and win Louth. So you can be strategic about this. But if you decide to divide up your team members, then it makes sense for the Lisa character to go to the more urban county, so Louth instead of Leitrim. It makes more sense for Fitzer to go to the more rural county, so Leitrim instead of Louth, Laois and Longford instead of Limerick, Cavan and Mayo instead of Dublin City if you last until the last few primaries. So there's a few pointers. Hopefully that'll be of some use to you on the campaign. Again, don't be afraid to make use of office hours. If you're confused, if you have any questions, make use of office hours. Look at all the resources I put up on Moodle, and all the best on the campaign. So yes, finally again, good luck on the campaign trail. As I said already, you're the second group to pick your candidate. So you have a chance now to steal a march on the other candidates, and make use of that chance to steal a march on the other candidates. Because in these elections, it's a candidate who hits the ground running, builds up the early momentum that goes on usually to win the election. Last bit of advice, I think I might have said it already, but I'll say it again. If you've issues, if you've got queries, if you've got questions, make use of my office hours. I have office hours tomorrow between 9:30 and 11, and I've also office hours on Mondays between 12:30 and 2:30.